The Crusader Church, the site of people who massacred all the Jews in Jerusalem in 1099, is now the Jerusalem Jewish Information Center, a division of TOP, the Torah Outreach Program. As part of our presenting Jewish information to the world at large, we are doing Jewish video visions, lectures, debates, concerts, things of quality which we experience in Jerusalem and would like to share with the rest of the world. I hope you will enjoy this presentation.
And if you don't mind, I have a feeling that I can see everybody, and I hope that you're able to hear me. It seems there was supposed to be a PA system, and there is no PA system. You know what? I'm going to sit. I'm going to try and take it easy. And they don't even have anybody here to introduce me, so I think we can dispense with that as well.
You're well known by now.
No, my name is Rabbi Gold. I was formerly Rabbi of the Young Israel of West Hempstead. Thank God, 5 years ago, I was offered to come on Aliyah with my family. We live in Har Nof, and I feel maybe I should also give public Shevach or Hodoyah thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that with his help, together with my community, we were instrumental in building a very beautiful, beautiful Bet Knesset in Har Nof, one of the, I think it will be one of the largest Bet Knesset in Yerushalayim. And the Yetz Hashem on Wednesday evening, we're moving into that new building. So that there are over 500 seats in the shul. We're moving in sort of, you know, with temporary furniture, tables, chairs. The building is beautiful. Take another year, and like all young Israels, we started a year ago in a lobby. Now, you know, those who come from young Israels in the States usually started in a storefront or in somebody's basement. We started in a lobby. And while it may have taken young Israels in the States, you know, about 20 years until they moved out on the storefront, we did it in just about under a year to move into the new shul. And Gesundheit, we should move in, and everybody, I wish all of you, I may forget by the end of the lecture to wish you all a good Gesundheit. There's also peace betten, outdoors. It should be a year of peace, a year of tranquility, a year of peace in Yerushalayim, here our Kodesh and Jews throughout the world. With that said, we can begin to discuss one of the most fascinating svarim in Tanakh, Sefer Yonah. The Sefer is fascinating. Yonah is an unusual, a very, very unusual personality. And in some way, we're going to try to plumb the depths of Sefer Yonah. I'm going to ask a number of questions, because not only is it a fascinating book, it's also puzzling, it's perplexing, it's very difficult to understand. I'll begin by posing the questions, and then we will attempt to the best of our ability to resolve the difficulties. We all know the story. Yonah is given the divine imperative to go to Nineveh, and Yonah refuses. He's obstinate, he's adamant, and he flees. Why does Yonah flee? Why doesn't he want to do that which God has commanded him to do? So there's a well-known Rashi. Rashi says, Ma ro'a Yonah shelo rotza lelech el Nineveh. Why didn't Yonah want to go to Nineveh? Amar, he said, Hagoyim krovei tshuva hein, the nations of the world are close. They're close to doing tshuva. Im omar lehem, if I'm going to come with the message of God, the response is going to be that they're going to do tshuva. Nimtzeiti mechayevet Yisrael. The result is going to be that I am going to cause that Israel will be condemned. Because God is going to say, take a look, here are non-Jews. Non-Jews, I send one prophet, and the prophet says no more than 5 words. Od arboim yom v'ninveh nehepochet. In another 40 days, Nineveh will fall. And what takes place in the city? An absolute spiritual revolution. God will then turn and say, to you, my people, I sent prophets day in and day out for generations, and you don't do tshuva. Yonah does not want to be the one who will indirectly cause that Israel be condemned. That's what Rashi tells us. You know what's important? What is important is take a look. What does Yonah say? Does Yonah at any point say why he flees? And you know what? He does. In the 4th chapter, he says the following. Yonah is outside the city of Nineveh. He has witnessed the transformation, the radical change that has taken place, the tshuva of the people of Nineveh. God has decided that he will not destroy the city. Vayera el Yonah ra gedola. It was very bad to Yonah. Vayichalo, he was very angry because God had decided he will not destroy the city. Vayitpalelu Hashem. And Yonah prays to God, Vayomer, and he said, Oh no, Hashem, oh God, halo zed tevori ad hayoti al admati. That's exactly what I said while I was still in Eretz Yisrael. That's precisely why I didn't want to go. Al kain kidamti libroach Tarshisha. That's why I fled to Tarshish. Yonah says, why? Why did I flee? You know why? Ki yodati, because I know you, God. I know you very well. I know that you are kel rachum v'chanun. You're merciful and you're compassionate. You're erech hapayim. You are long to get angry, v'rav chesed, so much kindness, v'nicham al hara'ah, and you regret, you change your mind about bringing evil. I know you. I know all about you. That's why I fled. I know it. You're just so merciful. You're so compassionate. It's terrible. I can't stand it. That's what Yonah is saying. This is Yonah's reason why he doesn't go. Why he doesn't want to go. How are we supposed to understand the words of Yonah? Therefore I fled because you are merciful and you're compassionate and you're long-suffering and you don't want to bring evil. What does Yonah mean? Is something wrong with God? And is this a reason to flee? Furthermore, how indeed does Yonah expect to flee? What did he really have in mind? Famous psukim in Tehillim, David HaMelech says, Ona elech meiru hapo, where can I go from before your spirit? Where can I flee from before you? Im esok shamayim, if I go up to the very heavens, sham ata, there you are. Va'atzia she'ol, if I go down to the very depths, hineka, there you are. Esok kam beit shachar, if I will want to fly away with the wings of the morning, eshkena ba'acharit yam, and I want to dwell at the very ends of the sea, gam sham yadcha tamcheni, there too your hand is going to guide me, v'tochazeni minecha, and your right hand is going to grab me. Doesn't Yonah know that you can't flee from before God? Let atar panui minei, the Zohar says, there is no place where God is not. He's all over. How does Yonah expect to flee? Third question. Rabbi Yochanan said, Lo holach Yonah elo la'abed atzmo bayam. Yonah went in order to commit suicide in the sea. He wanted to die. The Ibn Ezra says, Mit avel mevakesh lamut, he desired and sought to die. The lo toshu Ninveh Hashem, doesn't want Ninveh to do tshuva. He wants to die. What does it mean? Why does he want to die? Talmud Yerushalmi. The Talmud Yerushalmi makes a very puzzling statement. Yonah ben Amitai Yonah, the son of Amittai, Navi Emet Haya. He was a true prophet. Yonah ben Amittai was a true prophet. What does the Talmud mean? And what about Yeshayahu, and Yirmiyahu, and Yechezkel, and Hosea, and Moshe, and Shmuel? They were not true prophets. How could the Talmud make a statement like that? Yonah ben Amittai, Navi Emet Haya, was a true prophet. Number 5. If Yonah is really intent on fleeing, which he is, he's ready to die. He's ready to die. He denies and rejects the command of God. He defies God. Why doesn't the Rebbeinu Shalom simply turn around and choose another Navi? Yonah, I thought that you would be happy to do my bidding. You don't want to? There are a lot of other Yonahs in the sea. I'll find somebody else who'll be ready to go. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are dying to go and do the bidding of God. 6th question. Why do we read Sefer Yonah, Mincha of Yom Kippur? What's so unique and what's so special about the Sefer that as the sun begins to recede below the mountains, at that moment we're reading Sefer Yonah. I believe that we've asked a sufficient number of questions, and now the time has come to begin to attempt to answer them. And there are 2 parts to the answer that we're going to give. Number 1, we have to know who was Yonah. What do we know about him? Is there anything that we know about him? What about his background? What about his childhood? Is there anything that we know about Yonah? Something that we know about Yonah may very well shed light on all that's taking place in the book. Maybe there are all sorts of things that go back to his youth and to his childhood. What do we know about Yonah? And number 2, the second question that we're going to have to address in order to arrive at an answer is, what is tshuva? What is repentance all about? Who was Yonah? There are a few places in Tanakh where we find out about Yonah, but you have to know that they're talking about Yonah. We're going to see that it's mentioned only once by name in Tanakh, but there are 2 other places. In Malachim Aleph, Perek Yud Zayin, it says the following: Vayhi Dvar Hashem Elav, the word of God came to Eliyahu Hanavi. Kum Lech Tzarfata, Hashem tells Eliyahu Hanavi to go to a place called Tzarfat Asher Sidon, which is near Sidon, up in the north. Yashavta Sham, live there. Hinei tziviti sham isha almana lechalkelecha. I have commanded a woman who's an almana, a widow, that she should provide for your needs. And the Navi goes on to say that Eliyahu went to Tzarfat, he came to the woman, and she provided for him. There was no food in the house. Miraculously, Eliyahu provides food for her. And it came to pass after these things, the son of this woman took ill. He was very ill. No soul, no spirit, no life was left in him. And she said to Eliyahu, what's happening? You man of God, what's going to be with my child? You come here to remind me of my sins and to kill my son. Eliyahu says to the mother, give me the child. He took the child, went up to the attic, and there he lay down on the child and breathed into him, and the child came back to life. Eliyahu took the child, brought the child down from the attic into the house. And he gave the child to his mother. And Eliyahu said, Re'i, see, Chai b'nei, your son lives. And the woman said to Eliyahu, Ata ze yodati, now I know, ki ish elokim ata, now I know that you are a man of God. Udvar Hashem b'ficha emet, and the word of God is in your mouth, and it is truth. I want you to remember that passage. Udvar Hashem b'ficha emet, the word of God that is in your mouth is truth. This child was Yonah, the child that Eliyahu brought back to life. Yonah, therefore, we will see, is not only one who owes his life to Eliyahu, he is in a sense the alter ego of Eliyahu Hanavi. The second place where we find Yonah in Tanakh, Eliyahu is already gone. Elisha has now taken over from Eliyahu. This is in Malachim Tet, Perek Tet. The Elisha Hanavi, Pasuk says that Elisha Hanavi Korol le'echad m'bnei Hanavim, he called one of the sons of the prophets, and he told him, Chagor matnecha, gird your loins, v'kach pach Hashemen, and take the jug of oil, b'yadechem to your hands, and go to Hamod Gilad. Uvach Hashama, and you're going to come there, and you're going to see a man by the name of Yehu ben Yehoshaphat ben Nimshi. Uvata, you should come. V'hakimotom ito chachad, tell him to stand up from amongst his brothers. V'heiveita oto cheder b'cheder, and bring him into a private room. L'okachto pach Hashem, you should take the oil. Yatzachta al rosho, pour it on his head, v'amarta, and you should say to Yehu, Ko amar Hashem, so says God. Eshachticha l'melech El Yisrael, I have anointed you as king over Israel. Upatachta hadelet, open the door of that private room. V'nasta, flee. V'lo techakeh, and don't wait for a moment. Vayelech hanar, the young man went. He was the nar of the Navi, Elisha. He came to Ramot Gilad, and there Yehu is sitting together with his officers. He was the commander-in-chief of the forces of Israel. Vayomer, and he said, Davar li elecha hasar, commander, I have something to say to you. Vayomer Yehu, and Yehu said, El mimi kulanu, to whom from amongst all of us do you want to speak? Vayomer, and this man, the student of the prophet Elisha, said, Elecha, to you hasar, to you commander. Vayomer habaita, he got up and he came into the house, into a private room. Vayichal Hashem al-Rosho, and he poured the oil over his head by Yom Elon, and he said to him, Ko Amar Hashem Elokeinu Yisrael, so says God, the God of Israel, B'shakti Chol Melech El Am Hashem El Yisrael, I have anointed you as king over the people of God, the people of Israel. V'nikita Beit Achav Adonecha, you are to destroy the house of your master Achav. Achav was one of the wicked kings of Israel. V'nikanti D'mei Avodai Hanavim, and I will take vengeance for the blood of my servants, the prophets, Udumei Kol Avdei Hashem Yad Zevel, and all the blood that was spilled by Zevel. And the moment that he finished the Nevuah, by Yiftach Hadelet, he opened the door by Yanos, and he fled. The Yehu Yotzah, El Avdei Adon, of the commander-in-chief, Yehu now walks out, back to the members of the staff. Vayomer Lo, said to him, Hashalom, is everything all right? Madua bo ha-meshuga hazeh lecha. Why did this Meshugana come to you? Vayomer Aleim, and Yehu said to them, Atem yedatem et ha'ish ve'etzicho, you know the man and his talk. It's unimportant. Vayomru, and the officers sitting around the table said to Yehu, Sheker. Yehu, you're lying. Haged nalanu, please tell us what that Meshugana said. Vayomer, and he said, Kazot v'chazot amar elai, said such and such to me, and he said, Ko amar Hashem, so says God, you will be Melech al Yisrael. Vayimadu, they hurried, all of his commanders, they hurried, Vayikhu ish bigdo, each one took his garment, Vayosilu tachta vel gerem hamalot, and they put their garments out on the steps. Vayitku vashofar, and they blew the shofar, and they said, "Long live King Yehu." Isn't this fascinating? At first they say, "Madua boha mishuga hazeh lecha mishuga." What was he doing here? And Yehu's response is, "You know, we know him already. No. They're not going to be put off. And what word did they use? They say, sheker, sheker. What did his mother say when he was brought back to life by Eliyahu? Dvar Hashem, the word of God, beficha emet. The officers turn to Yehu and they say, sheker, you're lying. And the moment he does tell them what this Meshugana said, what's the instinctive, immediate response? They remove their garments, put it out onto the steps, they sound the shofar, and they say, Malach Yehu, Yehu is king. Yonah is a very, very perplexing character. He's the one. He may look like a Meshugana, he may seem strange, but there's one thing about him that all of them realize. When Yonah says something, it's true. When Yonah says something, it's the absolute truth. There's no doubt in their minds at all. Yehu is king. He may act strange. He may look strange. He may even cause people to fear him. There's obviously something very unique and very special about Yonah. He's different. There's no question about it that he's different. He's strong. He's determined. Let me ask you, how many people could conceivably be on board a ship that's about to be broken up in a terrible storm? Everybody on board is hysterical, and Yonah is tired. Yonah is able to go down to the bottom of the ship, lie down in bed, not merely lie down. By Yishkat he lies down, by Yerodam, and he fell into a deep sleep. It wasn't a simple sleep, it was a deep sleep. What makes a man like Yonah? Can you imagine? Pilot announces to a plane, we've lost 3 of our engines. We are in the process of crashing. And somebody turns to the people around him and says, wake me up when we crash. Yonah is an unusual character. But obviously, you know what's really behind it? What does it take for us to lose a night's sleep? What does it take for us to toss and turn during the course of a night? Very, very little. If one has a meeting coming up the next day with a fakid in the Misrat HaPnim, it's enough to have a sleepless night. Yonah, in the middle of a terrible, terrible storm, is able to go down to the bottom of the boat and just fall asleep. There is something about him that is fearless, and there's also something about him that seems to impress others. He may be strange, he may be different, but one thing is certain. He is truth. He's truth. One final place where Yonah appears, and this is the only place in Tanakh where Yonah is mentioned by name. In the other 2 places, we have to know Chazal. Our rabbis told us that it was Yonah, that this child who was the child of the woman from Tzarfat was Yonah. The student of the Navi Elisha who anoints Yehu as king, that this is Yonah, we know it from Chazal. And there's one other place. And this is a pasuk in Tanakh that everybody should know. We must know it. It's in Malachim Bet, Perek Yudalid, at the end of the Perek. They're talking about Yerovam ben Yoash, Melech Yisrael. Yerovam, the son of Yoash, who was king of Israel. He was king of Israel, B'Shomron, Arboim V'Achat Shana, 41 years. Not many kings who ruled that long. Well, what kind of a person was Yerovam ben Yoash? Vayas hara be'einei Hashem. He did that which was evil in the eyes of God. Lo sar mikol chatot Yeravam ben Nevat. He didn't turn from all of the sins of Yeravam ben Nevat, Asher hechet Yisrael, who caused Israel to sin. This Yeravam ben Yoash, this sinner, was so successful on the field of battle. He was one of the great kings in Jewish history. A sinner, a rasha, a kaifaniyika, and all of the other words that go along with it. And if you have difficulty knowing the rest of the words, you can look at one of the wall signs around here and they'll give you all of the synonyms. What about this fellow? Yeravam ben Yoash? Who Heshivet Vod Yisrael? He was the one who returned to Israel all of its borders. Milavo Chamat Ad Yam Ha'arava Kidvar Hashem Elokei Yisrael. He conquered back all of the lands that had been taken from the Jewish people. Kidvar Hashem Elokei Yisrael, as God, the God of Israel, had said. Asher Diber B'Yad Avdo, that He said through the hand of His servant Yonah ben Amittai Hanavi. Asher Gat HaCheva. Yonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, from Gat HaCheva. You may be wondering, the man's a sinner, the man is a terrible king, and yet he succeeds. He succeeds on the field of battle. Why? And you know what? There's a Navi. Yonah ben Amittai, the Navi, is the one who says, Yeravam ben Yoash, at Kefir Yigid and Kosher, he is going to bring salvation to Klal Yisrael. Why? Because God saw the suffering of the Jewish people. Morami old, it was terrible. The Efes Otzur, the Efes Ozur. Israel had no resources at all. The Ein Ozer li Israel, and there was nobody who came to the assistance of the Jewish people. He saw a Jewish people surrounded by a sea of enemies. No strength, no power, weak. God never intended that the name of the Jewish people should be erased from beneath the heavens. And you know what? He saved them through the hands of Yeravam ben Yoash. When Israel stands alone, and there's nobody in the world to come to the aid and the assistance of the Jewish people, then the Rebbeinu Shlomo will come to their aid and their assistance, and he will use even a Yeravam ben Yoash to be the instrument of great victory. When Ein Ozer Yisrael, when there is nobody who comes to the aid of Klal Yisrael, the Rebbeinu Shlomo is there, and it is not for us to ask why he uses an instrument like Yeravam ben Yoash. Obviously, the contemporary relevance of these psukim dare not be underestimated. Enough people feel that we know precisely how God should help us, and through whom God should help us, and who cannot serve as God's messenger, and who can serve as God's messenger. Along comes the Navi, and Yonah ben Amittai. Yonah ben Amittai, remember, Yonah ben Amittai is Navi Emet. And you know what ultimate truth is? The survival of Klal Yisrael is ultimate truth. And therefore, it makes no difference who the king or who the leader is. It can be Yeravam ben Yoash. An entire world abandons the Jewish people. Yeravam ben Yoash, yes. Yonah ben Amittai most probably came to Yeravam ben Yoash and he told him, Yeravam, you Russia, go out there and say, Klal Yisrael. This is what we know about Yonah. This is what we know about Yonah from Tanakh. So we've taken care of part one. Part one is what we know about Yonah. Part two is, in order to arrive at the answers to the 6 questions that we asked. Part two is what is tshuva? What is tshuva all about? One of the famous shurim of Rav Soloveitchik on tshuva, he says that there are 2 aspects and there are 2 dimensions to tshuva. On Yom Kippur, there are only 2 things that are supposed to take place. On this day will be a source of forgiveness and atonement for you. And also it is a day of Lifnei Hashem Titharu, before God man is to become purified. Why is there kapara and tahara? What is the difference between kapara and tahara? Forgiveness and purification. So the Rav says that chet sin causes two things. Number one, chet is mechayev. Chet, sin, must bring about punishment. For sin there must be punishment. Crime does not pay. But there's a second thing. Not only must there be punishment, but there's another thing. Do you know what a sin does? It pollutes. It stains and soils the soul. There is something about sin that changes the personality. Man before the sin is different than man after the sin. Kapara therefore means that God will not punish. Man does tshuva, God will not punish. Does it mean that man has changed? Has he now become the pure person that he was before? Has he removed the stain, the soil, the taint, the pollution of sin? That requires one further step in tshuva that brings to tahara, to purification. Kippur Yom HaZeh, Kippur, it's a day of kapara, a removal of punishment. And it is also a day, Lifnei Hashem Titharu, before God, man is to become purified. The Chachmei HaKabbalah asks the question, from which of God's attributes does tshuva emerge? Tshuva, what does tshuva mean? In the physical world, if somebody does something, it's done. You can't change something that's been done in the physical world. Something that's done, it's over. Finished. You chop down a cherry tree, it's down. That's it. Can't do anything about it. In the spiritual world, Torah comes and tells us, you did something, but you know what? You have the opportunity to undo that which you did. You can remove it. You can remove it completely. From which of God's attributes does tshuva emerge? Does it come from midas hachesed because of God's kindness, or is it midat hadin? Is it law? Is it God's mercifulness, or is it truth? The answer, of course, is that both are true. If the tshuva that one has done is a tshuva which only accomplishes kapara, removal of punishment, that kind of tshuva is accepted by God as an act of grace, kindness, and mercy. If somebody does a tshuva which is a tshuva of tahara, which purifies the human being, a person changes himself drastically and completely. It's not the same person anymore. He removes the stain, he removes the taint, he removes the pollution. He changes himself into a different individual. That's a tshuva of tahara, that's a tshuva that purifies. That tshuva helps because of emet. Truth demands that should help. We may also ask, why indeed does Rosh Hashanah precede Yom Kippur? You know, we're sort of used to it. Aseret Yemei Tshuva begins with Rosh Hashanah and it ends with Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the day of forgiveness. Rosh Hashanah is the day of judgment. Now, wouldn't it have been a better idea to have the day of forgiveness at the beginning? And you know what? After Yom Kippur, then we come before the bar of heavenly justice and judgment, and we come having been forgiven all of our sins. Rosh Hashanah should precede Yom Kippur. Rosh Hashanah should come after Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur should precede Rosh Hashanah. Obviously, of course, the Rebbeinu Shalom knows better. Rosh Hashanah is the day of din. Rosh Hashanah is the day of judgment. Rosh Hashanah is the day of truth. Rosh Hashanah is the day of tahara. Yom Kippur is the day of chesed, of kindness, of rachamim, of mercy. What is it that the Jew must strive for in the first instance? What he must strive for is to be able to stand before God and demand, you owe me Shana Tova. I'm able to stand before you on Rosh Hashanah. I'm good. I've done what you wanted of me. I've done all that you've commanded me to do. I've done it, and I'm ready to stand up and be judged. In the event that one is incapable of striking a deal with the Rebbeinu Shalom on Rosh Hashanah because of his own weakness, then there's the act of grace, the act of rachamim, which is impure. Well, let's go back to Yonah. Let's go back to Yonah. Yonah is sent to the city of Nineveh. He comes to the city of Nineveh and he tells them, oh, Darboin Yom to Nineveh now, in another 40 days, Nineveh is going to be destroyed. What takes place in the city? The description in the third parak of Yonah, an unusual description of an absolute upheaval. He comes into the city. Vayaminu anshe Ninveh ve'elokim, and the people of Nineveh believed God. Vayikru tzom, they called for a fast. Vayilbishu sakin migedolam vatatanan, they put on sackcloth, young and old. Vayigahat over melech Ninveh, and the words reached the king of Nineveh. Vayokim, so he got up from his chair, from his throne. Vayavratat me'alav, and he removed his cloak. Vayechas sakin, he put on sackcloth. Vayeshev alo apron, he sat on the ash, and he called out, hear ye, to all of the people of Nineveh, calling upon everybody to do tshuva. Nobody is to eat. Nobody is to eat. Nobody is to drink. Men and beasts, all of them. Miyotei, anybody who knows that he's done something wrong, Yoshu v'nicham, let him do tshuva, and God is going to change his mind. He will turn back from his anger, and we will not be destroyed. God saw their deeds, that they did tshuva, and God changed his mind, the evil that he wanted to do to them, and he didn't do it. And immediately afterwards it says, it was very bad to Yonah, and he was very angry. Why was he angry? Why was he angry? Because there are many opinions, and so it would seem. The tshuva of the people of Nineveh was unusual. It was exceptional. The Gemara goes on to tell us to the point that if somebody had stolen a beam from somebody else and he built it into his home, he tore his home down, took out the beam, and returned the beam. It would seem that this is an unusual degree of tshuva. Unusual. But you know what? As unusual as it is, it's also something that cannot last. Nineveh protested too much. The tshuva of the people of Nineveh was the result of fear. They were frightened. They believed Yonah. There was something about Yonah that even those people unknown to him in Nineveh, they believed him. There's something about Yonah that leaves the impression that the man speaks the truth. He is the student of Eliyahu Hanavi. The Gemara goes on to say that they did tshuva min akomos, from the violence hashebet hapeim that was in their hands. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Ma shahoya b'kaf yodeim hechaziru." That which they stole that was in their hands, that they returned. Uma shahoya b'shida teifa umigdol, but that which they had in the house, hidden someplace, that they didn't return. Rabbi Yochanan may be telling us that while it was outwardly, externally they did tshuva, but internally the dramatic change of personality had not taken place. And it was obvious why. It was the result of fear. It was the result of fear of God. It wasn't the result of love. Did any change take place in their beliefs, in their philosophy, in their entire way of life? Did anything change? No, nothing changed. But they did tshuva. Do you know what kind of tshuva that is? That's a tshuva of takova. It's not a tshuva of tahara. The stain, the soil, the taint, the pollution, all of that still remains. And therefore, Yonah is very angry. Will it last? Is this no more than the result of fear? Have they really changed? How long? How long will they continue to do tshuva? The Gemara says, that Yonah tovak kvod haben. Yonah was the one who came and demanded before God the honor of the Jewish people. Holach la'abed atzmo bayam. Rabbi Yochanan is the one who said that he went in order to commit suicide in the sea. You know what it really is? You know what the clue to the understanding of all of Sefer Yonah? The clue is there's one word in Sefer Yonah that's missing. There's one word that doesn't appear. And that one word that does not appear in Sefer Yonah is the key to unlock the secret of Sefer Yonah. Why he fled, why he was angry, why he was upset, why he's ready to die in the sea. One word. One word. What's the one word? The one word is simple. Yonah is sitting outside of the city, and God has told him that he will not destroy the city. Vayera el Yonah, and it was very bad. Yonah felt very bad. Vayichalon, he was angry. Vayitpalel of Hashem, and he prayed to God, and he said, "Oh no, Hashem, what's with you? Halo zed devari." Remember we discussed this pasuk at the beginning? Halo zed devari ad hayoti al admati. This is precisely what I said while I was still in Eretz Yisrael. That's why I fled to Tarshish. Because I know you. I know you. I know Kikel Chanun Verachon. You are merciful and you are kind. You are Erech Hapai, long suffering. V'rav Chesed, you're full of kindness, v'nicham al hara, and you don't want to bring evil. It's terrible. I can't stand you. Why? What does it mean? There's one word missing. Kel Chanun Verachon, Erech Hapayim V'rav Chesed. The emes in Torah in Parshat Ki Tisa, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu on Yom Kippur teaches Moshe the Yud Gimel Midot Harachanim, Hashem, Kel Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Hapayim V'rav Chesed, the emet. That's the word that's missing in Sefer Yonah. Yonah says to the Rebbeinu Shalom, listen, Rebbeinu Shalom, I know your problem. Your problem is you're kind and you're merciful, you're Rav Chesed, Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Hapayim V'nicham al hara, but it's not enough. Do you know what you should demand from the people of Nineveh? Truth. Do you know what truth would mean? That a tshuva that is done out of fear is simply not enough. Keep up the pressure. Hold out for more. Make greater demands on them. Do you know what you should do, Rebbeinu Shalom? You should wait. Wait until they change, and change drastically and completely and radically. Don't accept a tshuva that is a tshuva of kapara that removes punishment. Wait until they do a tshuva of tahara. What did we say? What did the Chachmei HaKabbalah say? A tshuva of kapara is accepted by God because He is Rachum V'Chanun, He's merciful. And tshuva of tahara is accepted by God because of emes. Emes demands it. Truth demands it. If a tshuva that is done that completely transforms the individual, then he's able to stand up before God, as the Rambam says, and a different person. Yesterday I was hated and despised and loathed by God. Today I'm beloved, I'm His friend, I'm a different individual. What Yonah wants is the Rebbeinu Shalom, keep up the pressure on Anshe Nineveh. Don't settle for anything less than tshuva of tahara. Demand emet of them, truth. But I know you, and that's why I fled. I know you. You're a softy. You're Erech Hapayim. You're Rav Chesed. You'll stop there, and as a result of the fact that you're Rav Chesed, you are Nicham al hara. You don't bring evil. And do we know what the results of that will be in time to come? And what is it that the Rebbeinu Shalom says to Yonah at the very end of the Sefer? V'ani lo ochos al Ninveh, I should not have mercy on Ninveh, Hagir HaGedolah, that great city, Ashyesh Bahar in Shtemes Revivo, more than 10,000. Asher lo yoda ben yamino l'smolo u'behem agava, don't know the difference between their right hand and their left hand in so many animals. What do you want from me, Yonah? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is pleading from Yonah. Yonah, I want you to understand me. I am Rav Chesed. I am Rachum V'Chama. I can't help it. They're human beings. I know what human beings are like. I know their fears, I know their anxieties, I know their tensions, I know their sense of vulnerability. I know it bothers them. I can't hold out the truth. You're right. I'm ready to settle for Rav Chesed, and I don't demand Emet. Well, do we now understand what Rav Yochanan, what the Talmud Yerushalmi said? Yonah ben Amittai, Navi Emet Haya. Yonah ben Amittai was Navi Emet. And what was our question? Are all other prophets not true prophets? No. Do you know what the Talmud Yerushalmi means? Yonah ben Amittai was a prophet of Emet. He demanded truth. What did his mother say when Eliyahu brought him back to life? Ato Yadati, now I know that you are a man of God. Udvar Hashem, and the word of God, beficha, in your mouth, is Emet, is truth. Truth. You brought my child back to life. That's truth. That's truth. Eliyahu is truth, and that truth of Eliyahu is transferred to Yonah. What happens when Yonah comes and he anoints Yehu to be king? What did that Meshugana want from you? I'll tell you that, and you know you know the man and what he says. Oh, so they turn to him and they say, no, Sheker, Yehu, you're telling us a falsehood. That Meshugana is the personification of truth. Yonah ben Amittai is Navi, and that is a prophet of truth. And therefore when he tells them, Kozot v'chazot, this is what he told me, and you will be Melech al Yisrael, they immediately take off their cloaks and put them on the steps, and they say, Malach Yehu. Yehu has become king. There's a dialogue that's taking place over here between Yonah and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. God wants Yonah, at least Yonah should understand him. God also needs to be understood. Well, what else did we ask? We know now what he meant when he said, Al King, Kidamti L'Ra Tarshisha. We know now what Yonah said. That's why I fled. I fled because you're Rav Chesed. And as they would say here, Rav Chesed, Nikuda. You're ready to stop. And what you should demand is Rav Chesed, the Emet. How does he hope to succeed? You know how he hopes to succeed? On behalf of Klal Yisrael, he doesn't plan on succeeding in fleeing. He wants to die. Lo holach Yonah, Yonah only went in order la'aved atzmo bayam. He is ready to give his life for Klal Yisrael. Well, then why in heaven's name doesn't God choose another Navi? Why doesn't he send somebody else who will take the place of Yonah? You know why? Because the more Yonah flees, the more God wants it. Why does Yonah flee? Yonah flees because of that profound sense of truth that burns within him. His deep concern for Klal Yisrael. He's afraid if Nineveh doesn't do a tshuva that is emet, who knows what will happen one day? And he was right. 65 years later, it was Nineveh that destroyed Eretz Yisrael. He wanted truth. So what was it? He's fleeing. Why does he flee? He flees because he loves the Jewish people. That's precisely the one whom HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be a prophet to Klal Yisrael. The one who is ready to go over to a Choshev by the name of Yerovim ben Yoash and tell Yerovim ben Yoash, go to it. Save Klal Yisrael. Go out to war. You are going to be the instrument of the salvation of the Jewish people. Well, why do we read Sefer Yonah at the end of toward the end of Yom Kippur? Both for Yonah's message and for God's message. Yonah's message to us is, don't settle for a tshuva that is merely the result of God's mercifulness and will be accepted only because he's Rachum V'Chanon. The message that Yonah says to us, go for Emet. Go for truth. Yonah ben Amitai Navi Emet. Go for truth. But it has to be balanced out. What does the Rebbeinu Shalom say? And if you can't achieve that, remember, I am Rachum V'Chanon and I am Rav Chesed. You know? Yonah represents the goal, the objective. The Rebbeinu Shalom is one who talks of what may often be the reality. If you can't make it all the way to Emet, the Rav Chesed is right here waiting for you in order to accept your tshuva. I have a feeling that Yonah may be read on Yom Kippur, because if one studies the Sefer, I believe that everybody who appears in the Sefer, every character in the Sefer, does tshuva. Yonah doesn't want to go, Yonah goes. The sailors on board the ship, everybody does tshuva. They all, according to Chazal, they became Geirim, they became believers in God. You know what? God does tshuva. He wanted to destroy Nineveh, and no, he will not destroy Nineveh. The people of Nineveh, they do tshuva. You know what? The whale does tshuva. Swallowed him and spit it back out. The only Sefer, everybody in the Sefer does tshuva. And you know what? Maybe I was a bit untruthful. Now that would be a terrible thing to say in a lecture of this sort. The word emet does appear once. Who is Yonah? Yonah is Yonah ben Amitai, or Yod Emet. Yonah, we don't know who his father is. His mother is mentioned in Tanakh, but we know that he is ben Amitai. He is the son of truth. What he demands is Emet. That's what he wants, and he represents what should be the goal, what should be the objective, what we have to strive for, while the Rebbeinu Shalom says, if you can't make it that far, remember, I am Rachum V'Chanon, Erech HaChalim, Rav Chesed, V'Nicham Al Hadar.
That's not mine. I'm just doing it to
We hope you enjoyed. Any aid you would like to give to help us to do other such films would be most appreciated. You can obtain a list of all such films that we have available, and we'd appreciate if they be bought directly through us. However, we don't want you to lose a learning opportunity because of the need to order through us. So if you need the tape right away, just copy it. Feel free. And we'd appreciate if you'd send whatever you feel appropriate to help our cause. Thank you again for giving us your time and attention.